All right, well, it's good to see everyone back. Glad we all made it back, and we'll start this work session. And I guess I'll start off with the appointment to the Baltimore County Adult Public Guardianship Review Board of Kathleen O'Brien.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. O'Brien did get back to us and is unable to attend today's meeting. I think she might be able to make the legislative session, but if you recall, about a week ago, I sent the members an email with the cover letter and the resume for Ms. O'Brien. I think she is an appointment, so she's a new appointment to serve the balance of a term that will expire in September of, or I'm sorry, end of the year in 2022. If there are any questions.
Okay, and none on my end. What about reappointment?
The reappointments, I believe one of the reappointment nominees is on Ms. Ryland, I believe. Ms. Ryland and the other reappointments, which are Ms. Ryland is currently serving, let's see, Ms. Ryland is finishing up a term that ends in September, at the end of September 2021. I think this is her first term, and she is a registered nurse representative. Ms. Davy is in her first term and finishing up a term that expires September 30th of 21, and she is representative of the Department of Social Services. Ms. Tucker Saab is finishing up her fourth term on the board or the commission, and this would be her fifth term as a lay person representative. And then Ms. Young is, I believe, she is finishing up a term, also a partial term that from 2019 to 2021 as a local nonprofit social services representative. But Ms. Ryland is here.
Okay, thank you so much, and we certainly appreciate all their service. We realize how important it is, and I know you and I have just been working on an issue
Yep.
that hits right at home with this particular board and the issues surrounding elder care and guardianship. So what I'll do, I'll ask Ms. Ryland, since you're here, we certainly appreciate you being here. Would you like to share a few words with us about your experience, the board, or anything?
Sure. This has been my first term. I work for the Adult Evaluation Review Services and was appointed over COVID. So it's been interesting, but I'm enjoying it, and we certainly provide a great service to Baltimore County.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, thank you very much, Ms. Riley. We look forward to voting for your reappointment Monday.
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday or whenever we need it.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Next, I'll move on to page 3, Mr. Terry Hickey for Bill 7921.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the council.
Sir.
I'm here on behalf of the administration to seek a supplemental appropriation of federal funds totaling just over $7.1 million. That is from state DHCD, so the State Department of Housing and Community Development, ERAP 1 funding. And just to distinguish, the county previously received its own award of $24.7 million in ERAP 1 funding from the federal government. The council appropriated that money at a previous hearing. This is money that came in, same funding source that came in through the state, that would be sub-granted to us to continue to supplement our efforts to provide rental assistance to county residents.
Okay. Certainly very, very important. Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Mr. Chair, this is Todd Crandall.
Yes. Councilman Crandall?
I just want to thank Mr. Hickey for his responsiveness, and he truly cares about his position, and his agency is kind of in its infancy, and by all reports, he's doing an excellent job. So I just wanted to thank him for the work that he's done so far.
Councilman, I want to thank you. I also want to say that many of you are sending us referrals and linking us with constituents, and my team is working so hard around the clock to stay in touch with folks and make sure they get the help. So thank you for all the communication and support that you're all giving us.
Sure. Any additional questions or comments? As always, Mr. Hickey, we'll take the money, right? The federal government is sending us the money, or the state government will take it.
And we'll get it out the door.
Get out the door to the people who need it. Next, we'll move on to page 23. Brady Locker, Deputy Director of the Environmental Protection and Sustainability.
Thank you, Chairman Jones, and good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the administration to request approval of a contract with Pinnacle Communications Resource Company, LLC, to provide on-call environmental consulting services for the development and implementation of education and outreach programs and materials that promote pollutant reduction. Specifically, we are working on getting less trash, no trash, in the middle and northwest branch of the Patapsco River. We have a requirement to do so from MDE and the EPA, and this education outreach contract is to support that mandated requirement to do this outreach. We are working on getting a quantifiable difference between the amount of trash that goes into these waterways now versus after these outreach programs, and we'll be following up with another contract in the coming months. But this one is to get started. We're in the early days of this education outreach, and we're looking forward to continuing with this company. You might remember this is the same company that did this trash crab award-winning campaign that the county had with them on the previous contract that is set to expire today. This contract will begin upon council approval, hopefully on Tuesday of next week. And we look forward to continuing working with Pinnacle.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, I thank you so much. As always, so important that we keep our waterways clean. So we appreciate all your work in that.
Thank you.
Sure. Next, we'll move on to Ms. DeAndrea Walker. And we have 5 contracts on starting with page number 9.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the council.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Walker. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. I saw a nice backdrop you had. Are you going to surprise us with that later?
I will.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm sorry. No spoiler alert. Go right ahead.
All right. The first contract we have up today is Shannenbaum Signs. The administration is requesting approval of a contract with Shannenbaum Signs to furnish, maintain, and install traffic signs, sign assemblies, and to furnish posts as needed around the county. The contract commenced upon council approval and continues for 1 year with renewal automatically for 4 additional 1-year periods with the option to extend the initial term or any renewal terms in additional 120 days. The contractor specifically will provide all the labor, supervision, tools, equipment, and incidentals related to installing the various street and traffic signs.
And no tractor trailer parking sign?
Yes, no parking signs will be included, sir.
Thank you.
So the contract was awarded through a competitive procurement based on low bid from 2 bids received. With that, if you have any questions, I'm available for questions.
Any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, thank you very much. Go on to page 13. Contracts. Is it applied thermoplastic reflective
Thermoplastic. Yes, sir.
permanent mark?
Yes,
Go
sir.
right ahead.
The administration is requesting approval of 2 contracts, Mid-Atlantic Markings Incorporated and Traffic Lines Incorporated, to furnish and install heat-applied thermoplastic reflective pavement markings within the county as needed. Each contract commenced upon council approval and continues for 1 year and will renew automatically for 4 additional 1-year periods with the option to extend the initial term or any renewal term an additional 120 days. Compensation for both contracts combined may not exceed $3.2 million for the entire 5-year, 4-month term, including the renewal and extension periods. This contract will provide paving markings, including crosswalks, crosswalk lines, stop lines, crosshatch lines, symbols, legends, arrows, speed hump markings, and short sections of center lines and line lanes. This was also awarded through a competitive procurement and low bid from 6 bids received.
Great. Any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, move right along. Ms. Walker.
Okay, my next contract is on-call snow removal and de-icing services. The administration is requesting approval of 3 contracts with TNF LLC, J&L Truck and Trailer, and Schaefer Incorporated. And these contracts will provide on-call snow removal and salt application services. Each contract will commence November 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2022, and may be renewed automatically for 9 additional 1-year terms. The compensation for these contracts together may not exceed the amount appropriated during the entire 9-year and 6-month term, including the renewals. The FY22 budget for the storm emergency program is where the funds will come, and it's based on what we have budgeted for our storm season for FY22.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, go right ahead, Ms. Walker, page 17.
I think that's it. It included all 3 of mine on this last one.
Oh, the last one, okay. J&L Schaefer, you did them all. Okay, fantastic. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, great, thank you, Ms. Walker. I'll move on to page 1, item number 6, which is a zoning regulation concerning the cemeteries and burial grounds. This deals with bill number 7621. Remember, this was held over from last time. The bill is for the purpose of permitting a natural burial ground, including conservation burial ground as an alternative burial ground in Baltimore County, specifically in my district on Granite Road. And we had extensive testimony before about it. There was some concerns that was raised, which allowed me to, or caused me to delay it until we got all of the details worked out with the administration in terms of making sure everybody's happy with the bill moving forward. So are there any questions or comments about the bill, the process, or anything? I don't want to take up too much time. Ms. Belcastro, are there any speakers?
No, Mr. Chair, there are no speakers registered for today's work session.
Okay, great. No questions or comments. I'll move on. Moving right along to page 7, bill 80-21, Councilman Marks.
There you go. Thank you very much. This legislation, as you may recall, I think last month, we passed legislation that expanded where temporary use trailers can be located, specifically trailers that are used to collect donated goods. And we expanded them throughout the county. There is an area in downtown Towson where there's a company that is interested in locating one of these trailers. This is a good location. It is a location that is close to the Assistance Center of Towson Churches, to several of the churches in that area that collect these type of items. And it's really a natural spot to have one of these collection centers. So that's what this legislation does. It expands the locations where we can have these temporary trailers that take in contributions from the public. Again, a very good service, a service that I think helps reduce dumping and provides commodities for the neediest in society.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Mr. Boswick, you could put me down as a co-sponsor here. Councilman Marks and I discussed this prior. To make a long story short, when we initially made the bill, we put in shopping centers because that's the most prevalent place. But clearly, I guess we weren't thinking that it's not the only place that people might want to use this. Private property owners may want to do it. And I guess think of one example, I guess think of, sometimes we have nonprofits that have properties in parking lots that want to do this sort of thing. I know it's done at the couple of the places in my area. But anyway, are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, go ahead, Councilman Marks. Let's talk about Bill 81-21.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So 10 years ago, I couldn't believe it was this far back, but 10 years ago, the County Council passed Bill 6411, which expanded the number of organizations, institutions that can receive community benefit funding from a planned unit development. This definition has been broadened over time. First, it was broadened to include volunteer fire companies. Bill 6411 allowed for NeighborSpace of Baltimore County to receive money when a planned unit development is being approved by the county. This bill takes that a step further, and it says that if you are another type of environmental or land preservation organization, you can also qualify for that funding. Over the past 10 years, I have personally seen so many worthwhile nonprofit organizations pop up that want to do good in our community. The Green Towson Alliance did not exist 10 years ago. Gunpowder Valley Conservancy was in its infancy. We have Blue Water Baltimore. We have all these type of wonderful environmental conservation and land preservation entities that, quite frankly, I believe should also qualify for funding. This does not in any way take funding away from NeighborSpace of Baltimore County. It simply adds to the menu of organizations that can receive funding. All of these groups are doing good work in our neighborhoods. All of them should be able to qualify for PUD funding at the discretion of the County Council.
Thank you very much, Councilman Marks. Any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, I think that will do it for today, unless there's any additional comments or questions or business that I've neglected to bring up. Hearing none, thank you very much, everyone.
Ms. Rogers, I believe, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Rogers.
Mr. Chair, while I have you all, we are about to hit send on a government-wide communication advising of the impending storm tomorrow. Ida is now a tropical depression, and we are planning for, there's the potential for significant rainfall, flash flooding, and we are now hearing from the emergency management team that there's even potential for tornadoes tomorrow afternoon. So we are sending out a communication government-wide to indicate that we will initiate liberal leave. I just wanted to let you know because the storm is escalating and we're tracking it. So just wanted to make sure you all were aware of what is transpiring.
Thank you so much for reminding me. I can tell you, with the daughter in New Orleans, it's been all Ida for the last, I don't know how many weeks. We've been tracking this and glued to the TV. But we would ask everybody who's paying attention, that's listening to us, to certainly go to our emergency management page.
Yes.
And look at the items that you want to do in terms of preparedness, being prepared for power outages, making sure you have flashlights and all the things necessary so that your family can be prepared in case, case things get tough around here in Baltimore County.
Chairman Jones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick question for Ms. Rogers. Thank you, Chairman Jones. Do we have any indications where in Baltimore County is a huge place. Do we have any indications of maybe which areas might be disproportionately affected, or any really hot spots that we're monitoring closely, or is this more of a broad brush type of heads up to the entire county? I mean, obviously, given the nature of it.
Well, we're alerting county wide, and we will send some communication out, but we're monitoring the places where we traditionally find flooding a problem, flash flooding. We know in the Catonsville area on the east side. So our teams are convening to make sure that we're prepared, but it's the traditional places where we know, where we have experience. We typically experience flooding, particularly with significant amounts of rainfall. In this instance, that's what they're predicting for tomorrow afternoon, which concerns us about standing water and a lot of traffic in places where there may be flash flooding, and individuals may find themselves in a situation where there's a flooded road. We want to reduce the potential that residents or persons on the roads would be impacted.
Yeah, and I'll ask my staff to just send out some Facebooks and some communications to our community groups. And obviously, the AOC, I'm sure, is in contact often with Howard County. But just as far as a proactive type step, it never can hurt if we just check in with Howard County as well, especially given the significant flooding issues we had in Noella, specifically after the last great Ellicott City flood. And of course, that was the second one. The first one was pretty rough, but the second one was even tougher for the county side for sure. So I'm very sensitive. As I know, Councilwoman Bevan's district has been really hit pretty hard with these issues in the past, and I know Councilman Crandall, but these are serious things. And so, yeah, VOC, I'm sure they're talking to our neighbors, but it's never going to have that partnership in place and talking just in case, because it's quick. Yeah.
And they've been on conference calls with the state, with MEMA throughout the day, and tracking with the National Weather Service. So we just received our last feedback from the afternoon meeting, and we are communicating to staff that out of an abundance of caution that we should prepare as though what they're anticipating is coming is indeed coming.
Thank you.
Ms. Rogers, it's Kathy.
Yes, ma'am.
Who will be our liaison throughout the day tomorrow that will be talking with the council and giving us updates?
I will check with Mr. Bakoff, who is, of course, now the chair for the EOC.
Right.
We will definitely be communicating through the EOC and will provide information. But Dave Bakoff is our lead on emergency management.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We want everyone to be safe.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I just want to thank Ms. Rogers. Mr. Bykoff met with me this summer. I really appreciated that. It's really important that we serve as communication conduits. That's, I think, our principal job during these emergencies. And just relaying the official news. And I just wanted to commend him for doing that. He didn't need to do that. Other administrations haven't always done that, but I really appreciated it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
Be safe.
Yes.
Just a quick question for Ms. Rogers. Do you know how the school system is responding to tomorrow's weather?
I do not know, but I have a call in my point of contact, Dr. Riven, uh, and to the libraries and to the community college. We try to communicate enterprise-wide to let them know what we're doing here in general government. But at the moment, Councilmember Patoka, I don't know, but I have calls into my colleagues to touch bases with them.
Ms. Rogers.
You're quite welcome, sir.
So I think that'll do it. And as always, thank you, Ms. Rogers. We ask everybody to say a prayer for the families of the 13 service members who lost their lives in Afghanistan, as well as the 90 Afghanians who died. And again, make sure you're prepared for tomorrow's storm. If you happen to use a generator, make sure you keep it away from your house, outside of your house, away from the window. These are the things that often cause people to get injured or killed. And try not to, make sure you use extension cords and not a dead man switch plugging it into your circuit. So that ought to do it, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you.
Thank you.
The storms